Olympico 3-3, Latvia and the United States. You play 5 games in the preliminary round. 2 teams are eliminated from each group after that time. The first way that they get eliminated is by points. Team USA and Latvia are sharing the 2 points, both of them getting 1. Downstairs with Pierre Maguire and Chris Chelios.
Thanks, Mike. Chris, the Latvians showed a lot of courage. What do you take positively out of this game if you're Team USA?
I thought we played with a lot of energy. You know, that's what we were stressing, the importance of the game. We came out and got a 2-0 lead, and you know, for the most part, I think we had some real quality chances. I think, you know, maybe a little too fancy at times. Just getting puck to the net might be the way we got to go in a type of tournament like this.
As a 4-time Olympian and the captain of the team, what wisdom do you share to the players for a quick turnaround tomorrow against Kazakhstan?
Well, like I said, I think it's a positive the way we play. We didn't come up, you know, with the win like we wanted to, but like I said, the energy level was there. We made a few mistakes, being a little over aggressive, and you know, when you make mistakes against teams like these with these quality players, they're going to burn you, and that's what happened. But overall, I think we generated a lot of offense. We played pretty solid and you know, pretty disciplined game.
With the 44-year-old legs, you're enjoying Peter Laviolette's wide-open offensive style?
I don't know. I guess that's my strength, I guess, is I can skate and play this type of game on the open ice. But I felt good, I think, for, you know, considering the travel and everything. I thought we played, like I said, with a lot of energy, and I think we're going to get better as the tournament goes on.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Best of luck the rest of the tournament. Doc, back to you.
Okay, 42 shots for Team USA tonight. They blasted away at Artur Zerbe. He got 39 of them. That was enough to preserve a tie. 3-3 the final score here. Back to the 4 to make the bracketed playoff, but it is a long way to Tuesday, however. Hi, everybody. Along with John Davidson, I'm Mike Emmerich. Okay, what about lineup changes from game 1 to 2?
Mike, for Team USA, same forward line combination, same defense, but a change in goal. John Graham started last night, 3-3 tie. They're going to go with Rick DiPietro. This will be his first ever Olympics. First ever starting game for them. He's wearing those brand new Stars and Stripes goal pads, fired up and ready to go. So that is the only change for them.
A 7-2 loss to Sweden for Kazakhstan. They have one of their 20 skaters that is an NHLer, the Toronto Maple Leafs' Nick Antropov.
Yeah, you'll notice him. He'd be the biggest player on the ice. He's tall. He's a good skater. Their club is not an offensive-minded team at all. They play team defense, but they are going to look to him. He'll wear number 80 to try to find offense for this club. They will do their best to keep it close.
Antropov, the only NHL skater, the goalie for Kazakhstan, has a recent history in the NHL. Vitaly Kolesnik, some time with the Colorado Avalanche. Bill Guerin, Mike Modano, and Brian Ralston start up front for Team USA. Darian Hatcher and Jordan Leopold on the defense. As you see, Kolesnik, who has a record of 3-3, including a shootout victory over New Jersey and authoring a victory against the New York Rangers that you had a chance to see.
This hockey season at Madison Square Garden, their goaltending at the time was not very good, so he had the opportunity to start a 2-1 win. His team was badly outshot, the Colorado Avalanche, but he won at Madison Square Garden, which can be an intimidating place. So I don't think he'll be rattled here.
The first big test for DiPietro comes from Pulisic, and that becomes a deflection up into the seats. And so once more, we will have a face-off to start off this game 24 seconds in, as Rick DiPietro has had some experience in the World Cup of Hockey in 2004. Very strong in a USA performance that did not get them a medal. Ryan Ralston played it ahead, eventually controlled by Eric Cole from the Carolina Hurricanes. Works his way behind. The little tap for Modano doesn't pan out. Carried back out once more by Shavalikov and angled back in. Nick Antropov there. Had that one sail by him. He is the biggest guy you're going to see in a white uniform tonight. A hulking winger from the Toronto Maple Leafs. They try for Ralston, and that doesn't work. Ralston, though, able to get there ahead of Antipin, and then around behind for control again on the outside by Eric Cole. Vladimir Antipin, the only man on this team to not attend the school of the coach. A hockey school that is conducted by Nikolai Mashigan, the coach of this team. I guess he must have gotten a pass. Everybody else, including Antropov and Kolesek, the goaltender, have been a part of that. He has been the instructor of that school for 4 years. Kazakhstan, like so many of the teams that have arrived at these Olympics, did so narrowly. Here is Chris Drury feeding one and a shot. Score! Bill Guerin, 1-0, a minute and 34 seconds in.
Well, it was a great shot, and when you see the replay of Bill Guerin scoring this goal, you won't believe the accuracy and velocity, because he was falling down at the time of the shot. Never saw the puck went in. I think the fans responded before he did. Here is the play along the boards with Doug Waite. He gets help. There's Guerin. All three forwards in on it. There's the pass and shot, and Guerin now celebrates as he's falling down to take the shot. Beautiful play. How about the pass by Drury? Good work by Doug Waite, and then Guerin giving his club a 1-0 lead. Big start for Team USA.
Native of Wilbraham, Massachusetts, member of the Dallas Stars of the NHL, and star in his own right, our third member of the crew, Pierre Maguire. Pierre?
John, you talked about the defensive presence of Kazakhstan and their limited offense. One of the things the Americans have to do, we just saw it on that last goal, get pucks in deep and cycle, and you saw the good two-man cycle between Waite and Drury. But there's a ton of obstruction. I'm at ice level right now. You see the obstruction right there in the neutral zone. The Kazakhs are really trying to congest things. Got to get pucks in deep.
Yeah, Pierre, it's the only way they could stay in the game, to really be shrewd defensively. They've won a lot of games in their history 1-0. Well, they won't win this one 1-0.
Big shot is snared by DiPietro, as that was laced to the goal by Evgeny Popkov.
Good shot, and two long shots on DiPietro early. One to the blocker side, which is his left side. One to the catching glove, which is his right side, and that gets him into the game. He fell in love with the Olympics in 1992, watching a goaltender by the name of Ray LeBlanc have a great run for Team USA at Maribel, France. And Rick DiPietro has a huge amount of respect for the Olympics, and here he gets his first start ever. Dave
Peterson, coach of the team in '88 and in '92. Drive and a save by DiPietro on the blast from Shemelin. And spun back up for Keith Tkachuk. But that team in Albertville finished fourth. They played for the bronze medal against Czechoslovakia. The unified team, one of the most powerful Olympic teams ever assembled, coached by Viktor Tikhonov, defeated Team Canada for the gold. It is Keith Tkachuk, a member of that '92 Albertville team, who cannot get that one ahead. Sent back across for Shemelin. Tried to tap one in front, and it's eventually controlled by Antipin. The Koreshkov brothers, 17 and 19, Alexander and Evgeny, are out there now for Kazakhstan. And it is Alexander with a pass that escaped from Agaratinov and is brought back on now for Keith Tkachuk with a shot. Oh, and that one is held by the goaltender Kolesnik.
And it was that man that turned the puck over. Mike, he's the captain, Koreshkov, and he carried the flag for Kazakhstan in the opening ceremonies. What a throw that Artur Zerbe did for Latvia, the Latvian goaltender.
Very much does he have to lead this team in these Olympics, despite the fact that they are ranked 11th coming in. 12 teams get in. Italy is 12th, largely because it is the host and is allowed to play in the tournament as the host, as they are doing both in men's and women's competition. Chris Chelios and Matthew Schneider, a defense pair from the Detroit Red Wings. It's worked ahead now for Madonna. Swaggers away from one and steps in, laying it back to Brian Ralston. The other member of this line is Eric Cole. And Madonna shoved one of the Kazakhstan players down. That was Antipin, and he will go to the box.
Antipin, look at this bench, Mike. The Kazakhstan bench. Those are all the forwards, see? Now there's a big gap. And those are all the defensemen over there. So the forwards don't sit with a defense. Same bench, but different area codes.
Pierre?
Gentlemen, you want to know why Mike Madonna takes a penalty? The obstruction. This is just ridiculous. Watch Madonna trying to fight to the net. He's trying to fight, trying to fight, trying to fight. There's obstruction all over. That's what you got to watch for. That's one of the key things to the Kazakhstan game plan. Obstruction. So the Americans have to be disciplined or they will end up in the box.
Any idea of why the gap, John?
I think just the forwards want to be towards center ice. The defense want to be back towards their goaltender, because that's where I think they're going to spend the majority of the game.
Craig Conroy turned that one back in. The other thing, too, is that on certain types of changes, a player can come over the boards and be offside. With the defense back there, that would certainly prevent it, because the forwards would be at center if they scrambled over the boards. Angled back near Eric Cole, brushed that one around behind. Jordan Leopold, who had a big goal, the tying goal last night in the 3-3 deadlock with Latvia, turned that one down, and Brian Ralston was able to outrace the defense. Wedged off, though, by Argapov. And so once more, it will be Kazakhstan shifting to the offensive. Artun Argapov, one of the point men on this power play, is gaining the zone as Andrei Chelyakov. Around behind, spun by DiPietro, but into some trouble. Twisted onto the back and held there. Played on by Koladayev. then worked on to Argapov again, and we get a stoppage of play and a crease violation against Kazakhstan, so the faceoff will come back out to center.
Chelyakov had his skate, half of his skate blade inside the goal crease, and as we have learned in this tournament, if a player stands there, tries to establish position, the referee can blow the whistle, and the faceoff then goes outside the blue line, outside the zone, as Chris Chelios was having a nice discussion with the referee about the call.
Referee is Thomas Andersson of Sweden, a 17-year veteran of the Swedish Elite League and regarded as the best of the European referees. All right, Koldayev played it ahead, shunted right back across for control by Argapov. Oh, a high, heavy hit that will be penalized from Chris Chelios as he went high on Dudarev. Well, let's double check that. That was Hatcher. Chelios may have thought of it. Hatcher did.
They both may have been in the neighborhood, but I think it was the hand of Hatcher that went up and swatted the guy right across the kisser. Right. Ooh, a forearm smash. I believe that was Dudarov that he got. The head snapped back, and the referee was back in behind and had a delayed call on the play. Chelios went in after. And here we go, Mike. 5-on-3 for 35 seconds for the power play of Kazakhstan.
The Koreshnov brothers are out there. It is controlled neatly and handled by Shemelin. Gets it back once more. Shemelin fires across. Oh, and a stick betrays the shooter Blokhin. Sent on to the back now for Shemelin again as Blokhin has returned with a new stick from the bench. That one deflected to the glass, and it is lifted back down with 14 to go on the 5-on-3.
The gods are on your side when you see that. A 5-on-3, perfect face-off win for Kazakhstan. They set up the shot, and the stick snaps in half.
Ogorodnikov brings it back in now for Yevgeny Koreshkov. Hands it on back once more for Shemelin. Then it goes to Ogorodnikov again, and he will just hold. Dealt back into the captain, Alexander Koreshkov, but that didn't pan out for Kazakhstan. It is a 5-on-4 power play now. Chris Drury and Mike Modano defending for Team USA. Cross-ice pass is blocked off neatly by Modano and tucked back out to center ice.
Good dogged penalty kill. Drury and Modano here getting the job done. Conroy was on the ice as a forward with a 5-on-3. Terrific job to this point.
Ogorodnikov dropped it off near the Koreshnikov brothers, but it is walked on back then again by Eric Cole. Cole drops, drive by Ralston, just missed the long side and careened all the way back to Chris Chelios. More killing time by Cole. Hands on to Ralston, decides to walk it on back and fan it out even further.
Now, this is taking advantage of the big ice. Team USA talked to their players, the coaching staff did. They were up till 3 o'clock in the morning last night. A, couldn't sleep. B, going over tapes and talking about the game. Does it make the puck do the work? This is a big ice surface.
Oh, a shot that went sailing wide from Shamak Valov. In some traffic. Worked on back to center ice. Best opportunity, Andrei Shamak Valov just a moment ago. A Detroit Red Wings draft pick in the year 1995, a 9th rounder, Shamak Valov. Brought ahead now by Nick Antropov, and boy, did Team USA converge there. Hatcher back to the players' bench as the teams are back at full strength again. Shamak Valov dumped it around behind. Turning with it now is Dmitry Uper, a New York Islanders draft pick, number 36. But it's handed across now for Schneider to reel it back in. And icing is called. 7:06 gone, first period of play, and we have a goal by Bill Guerin at 1:34 that has made this a 1-0 contest.
From Oswego, New York, you're looking at Eric Cole. He was talking today about the Olympics and who helped him get here. A coach by the name of Pete Sears was his high school coach. Pete Sears was the backup goaltender in 1972 at the Olympics for Team USA, and he just wanted to make sure we had a chance to say hello, and he remembers things like that. Pretty darn good of him.
Pretty good. Mike Lefty Kern was the lead goaltender that year for Team USA, and they got the silver. 10 medals for the United States in Olympic competition. This is their 123rd Olympic ice hockey game. No one of all the nations has played that many. Canada might have, but purposely laid out of the Olympics, protesting the fact that professionals were being used for so many years.
And we have an icing call now against Team USA as they will make changes to their lines. Scotty Gomez, his dad's here from Alaska, watching. I said, boy, a lot of hockey, huh, for Scotty. When did he start? He says, listen, you grew up in Alaska. and there's 7 months of winter, you better play hockey.
Scott Gomez's father grew up a Philadelphia Flyers fan until the year 2000, and then things changed quite a bit. Lifted back along and into some traffic, but taken by Brett Hedican. Then Leopold worked over for Guerin. Guerin forced it further.
This is the line for Team USA, Mike. I'm sorry, that has the goal. As Kazakhstan, I think we'll see a lot of this too. Icing the puck. Anytime they're in trouble, they don't mind taking a face-off. They're so defensive. Drury, Waite, and Guerin got together, and Guerin has the only goal so far in this first period. Kazakhstan, and watching them now, we've watched them for a few minutes here, 12 minutes. Not nearly as fast as Latvia. Not nearly as fast as the Swiss that we saw today really come up with a gigantic upset, beating the Czech Republic. So the U.S. club has to be patient. They have to be smart. See, the ice did again. They'll do this. They'll do it a lot. The best part maybe of Team USA in game one was their face-offs. Man, they cleaned up against Latvia on face-offs, but just got themselves a 3-3 tie out of it.
Well, you mentioned clogging up the center ice area and slowing the game down, dumping it down for icings as necessary. Does sound like some strategy that we used to see in the NHL that at times would work.
Yeah, they almost killed and squashed the game. But the game has gotten better, much more wide open. There's a great play deep. A great play by Knubel, showing his strength and muscle. And the Team USA, all those face-offs and icings led to some play deep in the zone. Look at Jason Blake on the puck, a great skater. Great skater. Now Mike Knubel's back in behind. Is dropped down. The puck is by Conroy, and there's the play by Knubel. And as he goes ahead towards the front of the net, you can see he was pulled down. Schamelin is the person that's in the penalty box, and Mike Knubel, the Philadelphia Flyers. That line did a good job too. Their goal came off that cycle that Pierre Maguire was talking about, the penalty draw. And the power play draw comes off the cycle.
Ralston hands back over to Doug Waite. Gives back to Ralston again. Kolesnik waiting, and that one went right past him, and it's a power play goal. 2-0 Team USA on a ripper by Brian Ralston.
8 seconds. 8 seconds of power play time, and the puck was in the net. Face-off win. Team USA really good on draws. They have some great face-off people. This one is won back to Ralston, a forward playing the point on the power play. It's Mike Modano winning it. And a little give and go here. Watch this shot. Andropov got out of the way, and Kolesnik, the goaltender, just couldn't stay with it. This is just a ripper of a shot. High on the glove hand side, catching glove side. 2-0 Team USA, and Ralston puts his power play stick back away and gets out his regular shift stick. He's going to save that one for the power play.
Pierre?
When you're playing a congestion game, very important to dominate the wall, and right now the American players are dominating the wall. That's why they're able to create cycling chances and also to draw penalties, John and Mike. And you know, the 2 goals we've seen go in on Kolesnik, both have been upstairs just by the catching glove. Clearly their American players are trying to shoot high on Kolesnik.
Yeah, you're right. The one up high on the catching glove side, one up high on the blocker side by Guerin. So it's 2-0, an even strength goal, a power play goal. And Team USA winning faceoffs. Modano with a big faceoff win, which led to the goal.
Puck dropped unfairly. They'll do it again. What did you mean by a power play stick?
Well, a lot of players sometimes will use a stick to kill penalties. Another stick that they feel is a really good shooting stick. The puck jumps off the stick a little bit more to be used on the power play.
Drive. Oh, and DiPietro got a piece of that drive from Argakov.
Argakov could shoot the puck. Did you see that? And by the way, the face-off win there by Kazakhstan was because the centerman got tossed out of Team USA, and a winger had to take the draw. Gomez was thrown out of the circle.
Oh, that one just fidgeted away by Chelyakov. Artem Argakov. We will watch for him as this game develops, especially on power plays, because can he ever bring it? Oh. Drury, the primary assist on Guerin's goal at 1:34. On the Ralston goal, Doug Waite. Delayed penalty call. Team USA is going to go back to the power play yet again.
Chelyakov, I think, is the player that's going to go. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong. Kolodyaev is the person who's going. Number 52, the defenseman. And again, the strength of Team USA, when they get the puck deep, and we'll keep talking about it, look at Keith Tkachuk. Try to get the puck away from him. The stick is doing all the work for the defender. Keith Tkachuk outpowered him, and because the stick was in the midsection and parallel with the ice surface, he's called for hooking it in the box.
Mike Modano will work out there along with Doug Waite, as well as Mark Parrish. Ralston and Matthew Schneider will be the point men. Guerin and Ralston, the goal scorers for Team USA, second of 5 preliminary round games. The next one will be Saturday against Slovakia. And that will be here. The same for Sunday against Sweden, and that back to the other arena for Russia. And that one coming up on Tuesday. But a rest for Team USA tomorrow, and that will be well-deserved as the crisscross takes place. Schneider and Ralston handed back onto Modano, crosses and deals it back deep. Doug Waite there, but there is crease interference called, and so a face-off may come back to center. But let's see. What did you notice, John?
Well, I really enjoyed the way Ralston and Schneider switched sides at the blue line when they had the puck. If the puck is passed back to one of them, they can shoot it off the pass. Now, Schneider didn't stay back there. He went hard to the net, and he went down there, and the net was knocked up off the mooring. That's why the referee blew the whistle. And since it was a Kazakhstan player who knocked Schneider into the net, the faceoff stayed inside.
Nice control by Giunta, hands on to Gomez. Giunta drive, save Kolesnik, rebound, he's got that one, and then is pumped for his trouble from behind.
Yeah, good point shots on the power play, right, Mike?
Good face-off wins,
yeah,
too.
Good face-off wins. The North American centermen have been much better than Europeans. The history shows that their face-off percentage is huge. Look at Keith Tkachuk in front. Wide open. Here comes the shot. And no rebound available to Keith Tkachuk.
Another face-off win. Eric Cole with it this time. Then on to Gomez. Shooting and a save and a cover by Kolesnik.
Look at Giunta. He'll battle anybody. Anybody. That's Block Sheen who he's battling in front. Now, you cover the Devils, and you've seen Giunta have a remarkable season. He seems to be fearless getting to the front of the net to find rebounds and stuff on the power play. 17 power play goals in the season.
Yes, I think that's it. Is that for a guy that's listed as 5'7", we'll emphasize listed at that. Usually you don't want to go there because, as the coaching legend of the Devils from the past, Tom McVie, said, it's a good place to be successful, but not many guys want to do the work because it's punishing. But it doesn't seem to bother Giunta. He had the first goal for Team USA in last night's contest that turned out to be a 3-3 tie as this skips away from Cole. In terms of what Kazakhstan would want to do, have they, I realize we're in a power play situation now, but do you think they've been successful at all with their clock down game?
No, because Team USA is too strong physically, and they've made them take penalties, or they made the play that led to the goal as Team USA Gomez is offside here. The shots are 7-3. The only 3 shots that the Kazakhstan team has had are all 3 been right from the blue line. They've been good hard shots, but all from the blue line. So I think Team USA has established their game. They have their 2-0 lead, and they're not going to let Mishigan and his team, I don't think, get that reckless game going where they could try to score with a 2-on-1 or a long breakaway. Team USA looks a little more poised with their game than I think I saw last night.
We got to talk to Nikolai Mishigan 2 days ago and asked him if his team had a chance at a medal. And he said, he smiled and he said, we're going to try our best, but no, not really. He talked about assembling this team as part of his hockey school, and he also said, we're going to learn a lot from this experience. And by the way, when I left home in Kazakhstan, it was minus 37. I'm happy to be here.
Well, you look at his face there and how serious he looks. He looks like a real Soviet bloc. You're a tough guy, but you said he was a real friendly sort.
Very much. Smiled the entire time. We worked through an interpreter. Pierre McGuire was down there, and by the time Pierre was done, he was still smiling.
I think that he's listening to you down there. Did you see him changes from the stern look to the big smile? I think Mike Emmerich has a lot of pull in this game.
No, I don't think so, but he is so happy to be here, and I think that's spread to his team, too. To get here from Kazakhstan is an 8-hour trip by aircraft.
Yeah, I asked some of their players. Andropov was speaking. Andropov, the Toronto Maple Leaf, you could talk English with him, and he was asking, he wanted to clarify. He says 8 hours by air. 8 hours by air, that's how long it takes to get from New York to Milan, Italy. 8 hours by air. That's a long trip.
It's a big world. Brought back on now by Chelios and hacked back in. We were talking earlier today with some Latvia fans. John's conversation was longer. Chance across the net mouth. The light flashed on, but as you could tell, it did not go in off Keith Tkachuk. The Latvia fans traveled here 3 days by bus to get here for this game. And I asked one of the fans, how far was it? And she just said thousands of kilometers. Thousands. Tkachuk a shot, answered by Kolesnik. Sent back on again by Darian Hatcher. Then taken by Chris Drury. Drury fed. Kachuk with a blast, knocked down by the defense and steered ahead. And so it is walked back out to center ice, and eventually Alexandrov runs into a wall, but got a shot away anyhow that was stopped by DiPietro. Good work by Alexandrov. He had a wall to get through, but still did.
Beautiful effort by number 34, Alexandrov. I mean, just a great effort. He got the shot on goal, and DiPietro had to be good on it. That's only the fourth shot he's seen, and that was a tricky shot. Real tricky, low to his catching glove side.
Earlier today, John had an opportunity to see Latvia in a contest with Slovakia. And I think the one thing that we saw with Latvia, and perhaps we will with Kazakhstan too, though they don't have quite the talent that Latvia did, is just a dogged, determined effort. As this feed is to Knuble, and he put it off the chest of Kolesnik, and it is held.
Jason Blake with a beautiful pass. See, Team USA looked at tapes, they talked to their players, they said, listen guys, your legs were moving last night in the Latvian game, but the puck wasn't. Look at the puck, look how long the pass this is. Beautiful. And there's the good shot on goal by Mike Knuble, and the save is made. Gorgeous pass by Jason Blake across. So the Team USA club, when they get acclimated to this bigger ice surface, let the puck travel. It can go a lot faster than your feet can, and that was an example of it with that last play.
Ice surface is 200 by about 100, compared to 200 by 85 in most North American rinks. The shot by Leopold is deflected up into the mesh.
How many faceoffs now on this end of the ice? It's like 12, 15. It feels like it. And I don't know if there's been one. Yeah, there's been a couple in the U.S. zone. That's it.
Pretty good dominance. In terms of the shots on goal, it's 9-4 in favor of the United States. Laid by Leopold onto Modano. Crisply back across, and Brett Hedican takes over there. Hedican with an assist in last night's game against Latvia.
Yeah, Aaron Miller not able to play. He's got a back that is tightened up on him. He plays for Los Angeles. One of the reasons why Brett Hedican was put into the lineup, and he's a great skating defenseman, able to play on this larger ice surface.
Brian Rafalski is suited up for the first game. Did take the warm-up. Did not suit up for this game, having a rib injury that has caused them to just wait. They would like to use him, of course, but they'd like him to heal more first. Having this game off without even putting on equipment, and having tomorrow off will make a big difference. A giveaway to Modano, moving in, and a shot is held by Kolesnik, who is becoming very busy.
Kolesnik with a good save, and very few rebounds getting away from him now. As Mike Modano is skating well, he's winning face-offs, doing a lot of things. Here's the turnover forced by Eric Cole, and that's Modano driving to the net. See how Cole went there and waited all by himself? If there's a rebound, he scores, or there's a good chance he would score. So Cole, with that great speed, forced the turnover. That's another player. When you talk about Eric Cole, like, you've got a speedy skater. I mean, a great skater. Faster with the puck than without it. I think he can make a difference in this tournament if he gets his speed going.
Here's Bill Guerin angling it back. Chelios, a shot, and that one a sprawling block. Another try, and a bullet that went wide as Dudarev got in front of that shot by Chelios. Knifed away to the corner, but then picked up by Doug Waite. Waite to the back. Chelios the drive, and that one sailed waist high wide and is cleared back out by Kazakhstan.
Chelios had to shoot it high because there was a defender sliding down in front of him. He had to get the shot over the body.
Played in the Sarajevo Olympics in 1984, is captain of this team now in 2006. The greatest separation of a first and a most recent game in Olympic history. Nice move as coming on with that one, and having a little trouble at the last was Polachek. Eventually angled on back now for Alexei Vasilchenko. Once again, they gain the zone. DiPietro watching as the shot ricocheted off Darian Hatcher and went wide from Sergei. Gianta's shot that went wide, and steaming down the wing was Jean-Michael Lyles. Gianta centers, Kachuk protects, gives it back on the point. Hatcher there, a sliding play, so he'll send it across.
Well, Kachuk got nailed, and he is slow getting up, and I think he is a little upset at Pukov, who got him, and the referee's taking a look to see if it's a minor or a double minor. I think Kachuk may have gotten clipped near the throat to see him reaching up by his chin strap, and he was not very happy. He wanted to go over and say hello to the opposition player and caught himself. You don't want to. And there's the jar. Oh, I see. Maybe the shoulder went right into his, to the bottom of his jaw and chin. That's how Kazakhstan takes care of business in their own zone. They clutch, they grab, they hold, they knock you down when you're not looking, and they're just hanging on, Mike. They're over a cliff right now, hanging on by a blade of grass.
Ice bags are allowed. Not a whole lot else is to take away pain over the course of an Olympic tournament. These 5 preliminary games played in 7 days. Tkachuk played in the 1992 Olympics with a fractured wrist. A defenseman for Team USA, Mo Manza, played with a fractured foot that he kept in a bucket of ice.
Tkachuk this time around had a fractured knuckle, and that knuckle in his hand is just barely healed up enough for him to play.
Charging ahead is Blokhin, and that turned aside by DiPietro. Some derisive applause for a shot on goal. The 5th one for Kazakhstan in the period, 10 for Team USA. For the last 4¼ minutes, and a collision between 2 American players, and so the play goes offside. All but 5 of the members of Team USA played college hockey at one time.
The shot, a low shot on those brand new goal pads of Rick DiPietro, who's keeping his focus. USA now outshooting Kazakhstan 10-5 with 4 minutes 10 seconds to go in this first period. Tkachuk back on the ice, appears to be okay. Kept his cool, which is a good thing.
We'll ask this question of our audience. Which state in the United States do you think would produce the most players on Team USA?
Well, I know which state in the United States has produced the most players that are playing in the NHL right now.
And that is?
New York State.
Okay. Would it be one of the M states that would have produced the most on this year's team? Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota? It's New York State, fed in front by Gomez, and that jabbed weakly toward the net by Keith Tkachuk. Gomez follows up right back to him again. To the outside now, it's Gomez. John Michael Lyles was at the front of the net, drifts to the point now to take this pass. Lyles shoves, went off the boards for Gomez. Fiddled on to the back for more control now by Team USA. Sent across by Eric Cole. Then Gomez a shot. That ricocheted off 2 players in front. Played by Gianta. Scaled back to the outside. Team USA just toying with them now. And a ricochet shot. Ricocheted off of Keith Tkachuk and went wide.
USA is 4 men deep. Now Lyles moves back. Lyles is all over the place.
Gomez to the back. The chant of USA. Shot. Score! What a drive! John Michael Lyles pulled the trigger.
And I think Gianta deflected it, Mike, and then he celebrated, and Andropov skated by and kicked his feet out, and he should have a penalty. He's not going to by the looks of it, but should. Big number 80. Here's the pass back. Beautiful by Gomez. There's the shot and deflection and the celebration in there. Well, maybe he didn't kick his feet out. I apologize. There's the battle. Keith Tkachuk gets a lot of attention. Gianta's smart. Look at him dart in and out. There's the deflection. What a beautiful play. That's why Gianta is a major league goal scorer at the NHL level. Jean-Michael Lyles with a great shot, nice and low, very deflectable, and the Team USA club have a 3-0 lead here and have really taken care of business in a smart way.
Gianta with 1, Ralston with 1, Guerin with 1. For Gianta, 2 in the tournament. One of the New York State players I mentioned, Robert Ashe, who is the 3rd goalkeeper, not in uniform tonight. Matthew Schneider from New York City. Gianta, Craig Conroy, Eric Cole. Rochester, the city of Brian Gianta.
Beautiful deflection. Oh, boy. Kovalenko was with Gianta, but Gianta's so quick and smart. He just circled around, went right through the traffic, got a stick down, and Lyles with a gorgeous shot. Lyles from Zionsville, Indiana, with a gorgeous low shot, deflected top corner. And Team USA in good shape to this point.
Lyles and Gomez get the assists on Gianta's 2nd of the tournament as Matt Schneider turns and hands on to Conroy, lobs ahead, and moving on in is Blake with a shot that was wide. Mike Knuble moves by. Chris Chelios pinches on. It's fed to the back. Knuble muscled off. Follow-up. Schneider waffle boarded away by Kolesnik. Then Schneider. Then Conroy. Turning to the outside and giving it back to Conroy. That time was Knuble. And a block off by Kolesnik, taken then by Matt Schneider.
When we watched Latvia last night and earlier today, They had that counter play with great passing for breakaways. They had 3 breakaways in their loss today to Slovakia. You don't sense this Kazakhstan team can do that, do you?
No.
They don't have the ability to send the puck up ice to get that glorious scoring chance. They're just hanging on and trying to get the puck out of their own zone.
Oh, Lyle sent one that had a man breaking for the cage. Doug Waite, but that didn't pan out. Turned on back now for control by Team USA's Bill Guerin. All of these players that we are seeing here for Latvia earlier today and Kazakhstan, even though we don't know a lot about their teams in terms of other than their identity and that they play in a professional league, these are professional players. And so much is talked about away from the Olympics about professionals and money. Shot is blocked down. But keep in mind that they're not getting paid to come here, most of them. They might get a small bonus in the case of Latvia, for example. But not a lot of money comes from this. It's just pride, and it's a lot of heart.
Yeah, the Latvian players were given $7,000 apiece because they, US dollars, because they got into the Olympics. And it's the pride of the country that means a lot. And of course, they're going to host the World Championships come the spring. Now, with Kazakhstan, I asked Andropov today, I said, do any of your players have other jobs other than playing hockey? And he looked at me like I had 3 heads. He said, no, we're all professionals. And it wasn't too many years ago, Mike, where they weren't. You know, they had secondary jobs.
Pierre Maguire.
Mike, you want to talk about heart and courage and guys that sacrifice for the good of the team? Billy Guerin, multi-million-dollar player, Olympic Games. Billy, go down, block a shot. Atta baby, Billy. That's what it's all about. Competition, caring, and competing.
I think Doug Armstrong, the general manager in Dallas, drew a breath there, didn't he?
So did I, sitting here.
A rapid one. Back ahead, Team USA. Lob back in once again. Brian Ralston caught a stick on the way in the forecheck. Driven back along for the keep by Jordan Leopold of the Calgary Flames.
You know, with the clutching and grabbing going on by Kazakhstan just to hang in, it's a good lesson to the NHL players. You don't want this in the NHL. You just don't want it. So when referees are tough on the calls when you get home, you understand. But you know what? I'm glad they're tough on the hooks and the holds because it slows down the pace of the game. I understand Kazakhstan's just trying to hang in there. It's the art of survival, but it sure slows the pace of the game down.
Antropov spiked that one on. Schneider gave it ahead. Keith Tkachuk brought it further. Gomez back to Tkachuk in front.
Whoa.
Oh, how on earth did it not get in? A wonderful glove of Kolesnik, and Tkachuk just threw his head back and is now shaking.
Gianta's looking at him, and Gomez with a brilliant pass. Watch the pass, give and go. Gomez doesn't take the shot, he moves it back. Gianta's in front, and oh, what a play. Gorgeous play all the way up the ice, capped off by the fantastic catching glove save.
Peter Budaj of Colorado, a win in this tournament. David Abisher of Colorado, a surprise win in the tournament. A victory earlier today for Switzerland over the Czech Republic. Kolesnik looking strong here despite overwhelming pressure from Team USA. 3-0.
I don't think there was a shot by Kazakhstan from the inside of the top of the circles on Rick DiPietro. He had long shots, he handled them well. A lot of times coaches will say the worst lead in hockey is a 3-0 lead because you relax too much. I think Team USA has to just stay with their business. They get a day off tomorrow to get some rest. Stay with their business, keep playing well, and learn the big ice. Nice long passes, give and goes, and enjoy the game.
17 shots to 5. Team USA in that first period. Guerin, Ralston, and Gianta with the goals. We'll have interviews as well as a studio coming up after 3 games, counting this one, before they head back to the other arena. But equipment managers are very valuable, hard-working people, and they need time. They didn't get time today. A delayed penalty call. As you notice, DiPietro coming to the bench, and on the extra man attack, it's just lobbed in by Gianta. Take a look at statistics in that first period. They are lopsided, as you would expect if you've watched the period of play. The shot 17-5, scoring chances 8-2. Power play shots were 7, 2 of which resulted in goals, and the faceoffs were 13-6.
As a matter of fact, those 5 shots by Kazakhstan, 4 of them from the blue line, 1 from in tight. I think I misspoke during the first period. There's the penalty. Keith Tkachuk, who had 5 shots himself in the first period, is pulled back by Koroskov, so he's in the penalty box. Keith Tkachuk is doing some good things in this game. That big size and using it. He spreads his legs wide to keep himself balanced, and there's been some good plays.
Fancy pads of Rick DiPietro, stars and stripes on those tackles. Brought back ahead by Doug Waite. At one time, they were all one color, brown with reindeer hair on the inside, but You can do an awful lot of things now much more fancy. Over the last 15 years that's happened. I remember Jarmo Myllys, goaltender from Finland, was one of the first to go with colored pads. They were white with lots of black marks on them because in Minnesota there was a period of time when they yielded a lot of shots. Here's Ralston. Scaled around to Doug Waite. Looks to the front. He's got Mark Parrish there from the New York Islanders, 37. Gives to the back to Ralston. Right back over to Waite again. Moving back into Schneider, and that one skipped right in front of him. Quickly played to Modano, to the outside to Waite, to the back to Ralston. Shoved it back onto Waite as two of the Kazakhstani players came right at him. Dealt back in deep then for Modano. Crisply back to Schneider. Modano again, twisted back on. Shot by Parrish was deflected wide by the defense.
Waite has made about 7 good passes so far. There's another one.
Modano a shot, shrugged off by Kolesnik, and once more Modano ridden to the boards hard. These boards are very high here, and so not much of a player protrudes above them when he's rammed in like that. It is Modano having shaken that off, just holding on here. With 27 to go on the power play, takes the tap from Ralston and hammers one that's saved by Kolesnik. Rebound dug out, but an intercepted pass comes from Antipin, and he's able to plop it back to center. 15 seconds to go on the penalty kill for Kazakhstan, and Ralston knocked that one down. Nicely able to finesse it on to Brian Giunta. He's got Tkachuk behind and gives it to him. Right back for Giunta again, but it's cranked back along for Matthew Schneider to play for Team USA. Penalty time is up, and the team's at full strength. Tkachuk, what'll he do? Decides to hand off to Gomez. Then Tkachuk burrows his way to the front, can't get the pass there. And so Brian Giunta plays at center for Team USA.
Again, Tkachuk 5 shots during the first period. A lot of them set up by Giunta or Gomez.
Tkachuk fed it, tapped on goal by Giunta, and Kolesnik came up with the save.
This line's starting to mesh pretty well, isn't it, Mike? Again, Giunta and Gomez play on the same line in New Jersey.
Here comes Giunta again, shooting, and Kolesnik with the save, but another penalty coming up to Kazakhstan.
When you see a power play for Team USA, keep in mind Rick DiPietro and his ability to handle a puck. He can make long passes up ice when Kazakhstan is changing their penalty killers. Here's the penalty to Kazakhstan as there's a slash across the hands of Giunta just as he was taking the shot. That's why his shot never went up high towards the top of the net.
This will become power play number 5 for Team USA. Artem Argakov sits in the penalty box for Kazakhstan, and apparently they're going to need some help with some battery-powered equipment to get this net straightened out again. They did have some ice problems here on the very first day, but all of that seems to have been solved.
Yeah, it has been, Mike. It was a human error problem here where the valve had a problem and it was not seen on a computer, and there was a translation problem with the Italian and English language. Dan Craig is running the 2 facilities and their ice and boards and glass and everything from the NHL. He does a great job, and it took 40 minutes to ruin the ice at the time or create the problem. It's 6 hours to fix it, but it was all human error. So everything is good and it's working real well right now.
Shoved back across for Cole's shot that's saved by Kolesnik through the screen set up by Mark Parrish. John Michael Lyles across, dealt back in deep. Doug Waite sent that one along. It came back to Lyles, then back on for Cole. Challenge to the corner, given a pretty good shove there by Pupkov. Onto the point it comes once more for Lyles. Shaken back to Cole. 30 seconds on the kill drawn for Kazakhstan, but the kill has all been done by Team USA's passing at this point. Handed back across, big drive by Waite, and that blocked back out to center by Vasilchenko. John Michael Lyles could not get by. Lyles played at Michigan State University. Watches this play develop, and it came to him. Lyles twists, but can't get a good shot away. And he played in that first college outdoor game at East Lansing against the University of Michigan. The game ended in a tie. Drifting in, Gomez fed it to Tkachuk. Tried to angle one in front. Tkachuk again, and he rang it off the post on his 3rd try.
It won't go in for Keith. It won't go in. The puck won't go in. He's been robbed. He's hit goal posts. He had 5 shots in the first period, and you can see a little frustration. He can't believe the puck's not going in.
And his Team USA teammates are probably letting him have it a little bit for his many opportunities that have failed. But this is Ralston bringing it on with Tkachuk breaking. Ralston forced it behind. Tkachuk tries to reach there. Nudged off by Shemelin. Meanwhile, to the outside, it's sent back on for Scott Gomez. Winds it on the backhand to Ralston. Quick drive, and that hit someone in front. I believe it was Tkachuk.
Right.
It's one of the...
The goaltender's making great saves. Now there's a defenseman without a stick.
Ahead, it is fed across, but a block by the defenseman who was stickless. That was Kolodyaev, and a chance here, and DiPietro steps in front of the shot by Argakov, who had just come out of the penalty box. On comes Jason Blake, and a backhander wedged into the paraphernalia of Kolesnik. Now it's Chelios on back to Hatcher. Darian Hatcher with a shot, and Kolesnik saw one of the easier ones and decides to freeze it.
Well, Argakov moved down. DPS. And this, above that, is the Olympics.
After the victory by Switzerland today over Czech Republic, a shocker at 3-2, their coach from Switzerland said, we didn't want to be embarrassed as we were in our 5-0 loss yesterday. We wanted to show the world that Swiss hockey is good hockey. And that we certainly didn't show that in yesterday's game, but today we wanted to make sure that we proved it. Czech Republic was certainly not as sharp. David Abisher in goal was outstanding.
Wow.
And Pierre saw it.
David Abisher and Mark Streit, game-winning goal scorer, both said that's the largest victory, or the biggest victory in the history of Swiss ice hockey.
That was an attack by Keith Tkachuk, and staying with his luck today, it did not go home. Here is Gomez. Though they might actually want to set Tkachuk up, but they do want to get goals. A drive by Gianta was hacked wide.
You know, on the theme of David Abisher, the Colorado goaltender playing for Switzerland had the win today. I said to him, and I know it's the biggest win as a team in Swiss ice hockey history. I asked him, was that the biggest win of your life? He said he thought about it for about 5 seconds. He goes, "Now beat the Russians 4-2 in '98. That was bigger for me."
Oh, Keith Tkachuk had another chance, but was not able to bury it this time.
There he is on defense to offense. Look at him take off. Boy, the Team USA is going to love him if he can play with this amount of energy, that much speed, with all his power as this tournament moves along. You have to have a good power forward in your lineup, and he can be one.
Mike Modano cruises in, but the pass was away from Eric Cole. Shifting to attack. Now it is Koreshkov dropping it on back for a turnover that went back to John Michael Lyles. Well, in the realm of injuries and concern about them as Ralston moves in. Nice feed across, but Mike Modano could not get anything happening right for him there, and he's coming to the bench. Not sure if there's an equipment problem there or what. Darian Hatcher slowed that play down, and so eventually it is Jason Blake. But in the light of injuries, there is great concern on the part of the Czech Republic because Dominik Hasek is not available, at least not today. And I know John has been following up on that. Meanwhile, this comes to the back for control by Jordan Leopold. Across for a drive by Hedeken that is stopped, and now we will get a stoppage of play.
Player in the crease. Face-off comes outside the zone. That's to protect the goaltenders. And here's Mike Modano taking the pass from Brian Ralston. Beautiful play by Ralston. And Modano went down kind of funny and really was slow getting to the bench. I think he's okay, but I'm just wondering if something got twisted up a little bit as he went down there. Caught an edge on a chip in the ice. Down he went. He's okay. Getting back to Dominik Hasek, the therapist today said he's at about 30% now, and he's going to try to stay here and play later in the tournament. And only time will tell whether or not he's going to be able to get healthy enough to play for the Czech Republic. They had an MRI done to take a look at the area that's damaged on Dominik Hasek, the goaltender, and it's up high, kind of an abductor or groin muscle, and he's had groin problems in the past. Doesn't want to go home, so far at least. Wants to stay here with his team. And home is Ottawa, the NHL.
Where the fans undoubtedly would like to see him come home, and perhaps his team would too, but if it were about the money, he wouldn't have come in the first place.
You know, He's in his 40s, and he wanted to play in this tournament badly. He thinks his team, and they do have a chance to win, even though they lost to the Swiss today. And he wants to be a part of it. You know, it's still 3-0 here, only 3-0, I say. Oh, Andropov just took a penalty. Team USA needs to get another goal somewhere along the line here. Certainly they don't want to give up much, but they need a little bit of some offense to try to put this game away. One goal the other way, and you never know what happens. Chelios draws a power play, and Team USA go to work. They're 2 for 8 so far in this game.
Chris Chelios out of the University of Wisconsin. The very same shoulder pads that he wore when he was playing there over 20 years ago are the ones that he still wears. They have been stitched up more times than a Frankensteinian monster, but they still work pretty well, and that's why he stays with them. Perhaps they're lucky, too. He's had quite a career, hasn't he?
He really has.
Ralston pitched that one back in.
The more minutes that Chelios plays, the better he plays. He's got that competitive nature. You know, he used to have some knee problems earlier in his career, and they disappeared. Strange. Most people get older when they play sports, and their knees get worse. His just got better. And here he is playing at the age 44. That was close.
Kolesnik nearly saw a 1-by-3-inch disc inside the 4-by-6-foot cage. He is to keep that from happening. It would have been goal 4. Antropov still off on the penalty called to him for another 75 seconds or less if Team USA scores, but right now they're making another change. They get Kachuk out there. Ralston comes off. Gomez is on, and also hopping over the boards is Brian Gianta. Feed kick to the corner. Gomez right back in after that one. Laid it to the point. Lyles handed it across, but it was from outside the line back in. Sarajevo was where the 1984 Olympics were held. Lou Vero was the coach of the team, and there is a younger Chris Chelios.
Number 21 back in those days, and this is the uniform of 2006 with a C on it. The captain. He was also captain in the Salt Lake City Olympics, which Team Canada was beaten, or Team Canada beat Team USA for the gold and silver in the final game. And what a game that was. Mike Richter was in goal. Marty Brodeur was in goal. Brett Hull led everybody with points in that tournament. It was a great tournament.
That was quite a bit of stick handling, wasn't it, by DiPietro, as Keith Kachuk denied. And Lyles was able to keep that one from going the length. Back on to Kachuk again out of Boston University. A lot of traffic, able to wind his way back in. Dealt it to Gianna from Boston College. No hard feelings. Back to Kachuk again. Brian Gianta's brother also plays at Boston University. This one laid right back ahead for the carry on by Fedor Policek. Cannot get by. Good defense by John Michael Lyles of the Colorado Avalanche. 3 seconds and 2, and big Nick Antropov is released from the penalty box. Scott Gomez lays this back and comes obediently to the bench for a change in lines as Chelios lays it across now to Matthew Schneider. Then back. Oh, man. You don't want to see that. Here's Conroy getting back up. Seems to be okay after the collision with Andrei Gorodnikov. Now thrown back high by Knubel, and it bounces to center. Kalashnikov wiped out, and so it's played back in again for Craig Conroy, then Mike Knubel, then close quarters to Conroy. Jason Blake out in front is just now being watched. To the point it comes. The USA chant begins as Schneider bounces one off. Kazakhstan player Nick Antropov goes right back at it and puts the body healthily into Schneider, who comes to the bench for a change.
Team USA to this point being disciplined without the puck. You don't see this Kazakh team have the odd man rushes, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. They're not really a good offensive club to start with. The Team USA playing very intelligent, knowing they have the comfortable lead. Why give the other team any life at all?
Andrei Samakvalov out there, number 25, you just saw drift into your picture for the white-shirted Kazakhstan team. A penalty is coming up against them. Delayed penalty call for Team USA.
Antipin will go. It's a hooking call again. Another one of those penalties when the stick is into the midsection and parallel with the ice surface. You know what I like about the team, too, with Team USA tonight, Mike? Is John Graham played game 1, a 3-3 tie. Tonight it's Rick DiPietro, and Robert Esche has a chance to dress as the backup. And I think that's important for team unity. You have 3 goaltenders. Let everybody be a part of it. Even though, and I know Robert Esche, it burns with desire to play. plays for the Philadelphia Flyers, has come back from groin injuries, is a very good goaltender. You burn on the inside, you want to play so bad. But having the team have him get in uniform tonight, that's a good team-building thing to do.
He and Rick DiPietro were the 2 goalkeepers of record in the World Cup of Hockey that was held in the fall of 2004. DiPietro had most of the work, but both of them performed pretty well. Team USA lost to Finland and was eliminated from the play. Eventually, Canada was able to win over Finland after beating the Czech Republic. And that has, since the '98 Nagano games, become a huge rivalry for Canada, the Czech Republic. Keith Tkachuk sees that one grabbed by Kolesnik and play stopped once more.
Keith Tkachuk skates by Kolesnik and probably said, "You got to be kidding me. Will you please let me get one? I need one." That was a great shot. Gomez will end up dropping the puck off to, look at, see Gomez there? Tell Tkachuk, here, come and get it. Look at the screen set up, and there's a nice little catch and glove save.
Pierre?
Kolesnik was smiling at Keith Tkachuk, and Tkachuk went by him and said, "Not tonight, big fella."
Oh, well, the big fella has Keith Tkachuk 7 times tonight, plus the luck of a goalpost on his side.
Shots in the game are 33-9. None in this period for Kazakhstan. Nearing the halfway point of the period. Still another power play, but a 2-on-1 break coming up here. Moving back. Oh, it all broke down.
Yeah, Cole could skate. Oh, my
gee.
goodness gracious.
Polachek run by Keith Tkachuk, and Tkachuk will be given a penalty.
Well, he had the puck. He had the puck, and then he was almost put in the next week by Keith Tkachuk, who may be getting upset that he's not scoring. Eric Cole on the back check, Mike, was unbelievable how fast he got back because of his skating ability. That's a good hit. You know why that's a good hit? It seems high, but the Kazakhstan player saw him coming and ducked it. He ducked the hit, and that's why it seemed like it was high. Keith Tkachuk, and he had the puck. Keith Tkachuk threw a good check there, but it was so hard that the referee gave him a penalty.
The opposite end from Pierre Maguire. Pierre.
And that happens a lot in international hockey. They usually react to what the loud noise is off the boards rather than the play. And John's absolutely right. The player from Kazakhstan actually bailed out on the hit. That's like blowing snow. Tkachuk was just trying to finish his check. It's unfortunate for Tkachuk. He gets penalized.
It is called a boarding penalty, and there are times when an otherwise legal hit winds up drawing a minor just because of the effect of the legal hit. Here is Chelios giving this on now to Conroy. Team USA ahead in the game 3-0. All of the goals scored in the first period. Garen Ralston and Gianta, the latter 2 on the power play, in case you're just joining us here.
You know, one thing though, Mike, in watching this tournament to this point, the European officiating has improved 10,000% compared to what it used to be, say, a decade ago. They have really worked at their officiating. They're way, way, way better. They've really improved.
Hard drive deflected wide. There were some rather famous officials who worked games from Europe that involved North American teams. They became famous because there was always the perception on the part of the North American teams, who normally were stronger, unless we're talking about playing the Soviet Union, that they were refereeing off the scoreboard.
Anything that was mean, tough, nasty, the European officials called. North America played a much tougher game, and eventually, it appears to me at least, the European style of hockey, which is good and it's skilled and there's a lot of speed, their toughness aspect of it all has really improved.
The first of the Super Series between NHL players and Soviet players occurred in 1972, and it was an 8-game series. Here's a chance in front. Oh, and they score a power play goal collected by Yevgeny Koreshkov. And so it is a 3-1 game.
And you look at the clock. There's just under 9 minutes to go. Kazakhstan fans have a chance to cheer. Koreshkov, we talked earlier about him having some pretty good skill. Look at him get to the front of the net on his own, and a tricky little backhand. He got away from Conroy over in the corner, and the pass down low was nice to him, and he gets his second goal of the tournament. He's played well in this game. He's played hard. Now all of a sudden it's a 3-1 game. That's a completely different look to the game itself. Now, will Kazakhstan try to make something happen here? You see Tkachuk talking to the referee about the body check, and that's all it was. It was a body check that, I mean, he was skating fast, but the Kazakhstan player just ducked out of it. Now Team USA just has to deal with the situation.
They have Darian Hatcher out there, as well as Tkachuk, Gomez, and Gianta, who sprints after this one. Got there first and brushed it on to Tkachuk. Then to the back to Hatcher, couldn't settle it down, then dumped it in. A delayed offside is wiped as Team USA clears the zone, and then can forecheck. Brought on by Oleg Kovalenko. Little pass failed as trying for it was Shamalbakov. The score of probably the most famous goal in terms of Kazakhstan hockey. That was a first Kazakhstan shot of this third period. But it was an artful one, resulting in a power play goal for Yevgeny Kvashkov. From the two aside, Dennis Shemelin, who was injured early, is out there. A steal for Modano, a feed in front, back to Modano, and he scores on the pass from Eric Cole.
Eric Cole with a beautiful pass back to Modano, and Team USA answers. It was 3-0. The Kazakhstan team had themselves a power play goal, and you wondered what was going to happen. And one of their best players, Andropov, will get the puck. And you'll see the turnover. He gets the puck, it's taken away. He loses his man. That's Modano, give and go. Oh, what a nice play. Modano fed the puck across. And as it's received by Eric Cole, he took it off his skate blade, put it to a stick, moved it back to Mike Modano for the empty net goal. And Team USA gets a very important one, a big one back.
In terms of goal differential, they're +3 for 5+ periods of hockey. And with 8 minutes to go in the game, there are ties in preliminary round games. And again, there are 5 of those games played in 7 days. Team USA plays Slovakia Saturday, Sweden Sunday, and Russia on Tuesday. Centering pass is poked behind by Modano. And they will run into healthy lineups of NHL players in all 3 of those games. Drive by Ralston, ricocheted back. Oh. Boy, you just cringe whenever it hits anybody, especially Vasilchenko that time on a butchering drive by Brian Ralston.
Yeah, he had lost his stick. He still went out, got his body down, and blocked the shot. Takes a lot of courage to do that.
Gordon Leopold turned into 2 players and eventually was able to get it away from the latter one. As Cole strides after this, it's taken by Blake. Blake a backhander, and closing on that one was Kolesnik, and we get a collision. We have a penalty coming from this, or just the collision?
Kolodyaev went flying into the backboards, and he's a little shaken up on the play. No penalty. I think the referee lost sight of the puck. When Blake had the backhand shot, he takes the puck here, takes the backhand shot, and I think the referee thought he had the puck the whole time. Oh, gosh. Kolodyaev, watch him go in chin first into the boards, the backboards here. Oh, wham. The visor and helmet saves him, and he's up and okay, but that was a dangerous play too. Trying to getting the smudge off the visor there now. Ooh, did he get rattled, Mike?
Good thing it's a visor. It might be a broken nose or worse. Ooh. Good protection from the helmet and the visor. So many players in the past, in an earlier day, had concussions and didn't know about it. Great progress has been made over time in having baseline testing at the outside of a season that you can compare to. So in case there's any question, you can take another performance test and the numbers will tell you whether you're okay to play.
And as Chelios moved in, he was knocked into by Vasilchenko, who has thrown more body checks in this game than any other player. Right, Pierre?
Part of checking is being strong with your board play, and this is going to be a way that Team USA can manufacture a lot of offense. Be strong on the wall, dominate, keep your feet moving, and engage your cycle game. Team USA has done this the entire game, and it eventually leads to goals or it draws penalties. It's an outstanding job. It's a great tactic, especially against trapping teams, because it creates foot race situations and allows you to score goals. So it's a great job by the Americans.
Mark Parrish with a great opportunity, denied by the defense. Another pass trickled out in front, and it's helped ahead for the carry back out.
Well, Billy Guerin took a run at number 2. That's Vasilchenko, who's been trying to run the USA players all game.
Torchinsky, a shot stopped by DiPietro, and a penalty is coming up to Team USA with 6:13 to go in the third.
Alexandrov was in front. He had a scoring chance, tried to get to the rebound, and got nailed. DiPietro with 2 saves. I think it's the first time in the game where he's made 2 in a row, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where a rebound shot went his way, and Drury, who's a smart player, comes back and takes the body, knocks him down, and goes to the penalty box. Right in front, there's Drury knocking down his man. Or at least the referee said he did, and he sits for 2 minutes. The only goal Kazakhstan has here is on the power play. The man taking the face-off, 19 White, scored the goal.
Here is a shot by Koreshkov that was blocked aside as it ricocheted near the net, and DiPietro was watching it. Onto the back it comes again. Work to the outside. Alexander Koreshkov's pass is cut. Started back out by Jason Blake. Wants to settle it down for the United States, clearing it back in as 5:50 remain in the game.
And that's Shamlin with the puck. Remember, he's got a very sore foot. At least he's trying to play the power play here.
Well, you can see him favor it as he skates as Koreshkov brings it back, gives it to the back for Shemelin, and the shot floated wide. Koreshkov takes it again. Alexander Koreshkov gives back to Shemelin, then across for a shot. That deflected wide, and DiPietro takes no chances of it coming off the lively boards. Yeah, the full stride just can't be there, but you sure admire his courage for being out and blasting away on this power play.
Without question, and there's still 1:16 to go on the power play for the Kazakhstan team.
Yevgeny Koreshkov will try to win this. Brother Alexander to the right. Nick Antropov, the Toronto Maple Leafs on the left. Yanked back across. Alexander Koreshkov, a little pass, bounced in front. Antropov couldn't come up with it. Jordan Leopold could. 5:20 to go. Penalty kill is nearly half over for Team USA, but it's still in the zone. Alexander Koreshkov gives it onto the back. Shot. Oh, nailed through a screen by DiPietro as Putkov let a pretty strong shot go.
And a big screen. DiPietro, nice save. You know, earlier, prior to this power play, we talked about number 2, Vasilchenko, running everybody. Look at that. Bill Guerin took a run at him. You sit on the bench and you watch a player on the other team continually run your teammates. Every once in a while, you want to go out there and say, "I got to pay this guy back if I get a chance," and that's what Guerin tried to do on the play.
One behind for Chris Chelios and rattled around, and so again they'll have to circle back and play. Volodyaev. Koreshkov sent it on back, and so Volodyaev once more. Big Nick Antropov. He's so good near the front of the net. See if he goes there as it is lobbed back in, spiked down, and legally so by Jason Blake, and back out. Has a long reach, hulking sign of guy, but they can't get any attack going to get him there right now. Another change in lines for Team USA. They bring out Ralston to work with Leopold. Also up front will be John Michael Lyles. And another defenseman, they go with Eric Cole out there. And the other defense is Hedican, I beg your pardon. Out of all this traffic, DiPietro had trouble taken by Brett Hedican. Hedican looking ahead and just plays it back down away from Ralston. And so it is Kolesnik watching as penalty time is up now, and we're down to the last 4:05 of the game. Mike Madonna was the man who broke this open.
Nice pass by DiPietro.
Thrown behind by Chris Drury. Booted right back near him and knifed back up the boards for control by Chelyakov, but he just could not stop it, and so it careens back for Team USA to move it back up again. John Michael Lyles with a pass on for Doug Waite. Michigan-born man gave it on to a Massachusetts guy, Bill Guerin, who fired it into the paraphernalia of Kolesnik. And once more, it will be Darian Hatcher to play for the USA defense. Hooked at there by Antropov.
Those are 2 giant men. Hatcher's played a nice, smart game, stayed out of the penalty box. He did not play in the last Olympics that were held in Salt Lake City.
Keith Tkachuk breezing in. Tkachuk a shot, and he missed the long side. Karam's on back to Chris Chelios. For the last 3 minutes. Chelios drops it back, and the follow-through now comes from Matthew Schneider. Well, this will be a team that will welcome the rest. That drilled back into Kolesnik, and he had to cover quickly to keep Team USA from getting a chance on his goal.
Volodyaev went to shoot the puck up ice and hit his own goaltender. You know, a quick story about this Kazakh team. Their first Olympics was in Nagano in Japan in '98. The coach was a fellow named Boris Alexandrov. He was killed in a car accident at age 47 in the summer of 2002. There was a famous game in Canada between the Soviet Red Army and the Montreal Canadiens in 1975. Tretiak was a goaltender for the Red Army, made save after save after save. It was a 3-3 tie, and I remember, Mike, because I watched it on television. It was fantastic. And he was the player who scored the tying goal in the 3-3 tie. And just a little history of the Kazakhstan players. That was a great game, and in Canada, a lot of people still remember that game on that famous New Year's Eve. In fact, Pierre Maguire was at the game as a youngster.
Yeah, single digits, we would imagine. This one sailed back on, but not out. Angled wide off of Knubel as he made the try, but it struck a Kazakhstan player. That was a tour which continued on to Philadelphia in another rather famous game in which the Red Army team walked off the ice on a check by Ed Van Impe. Lloyd Gilmore said that was a shoulder check. It was legitimate. The Red Army said no, left the ice, and eventually lured back by some American dollars. They decided
they were not going to be paid for coming over for the tournament or the tour unless they came back on the ice. And guess what? They came back on the ice.
Vladislav Tretiak in his book said it was the only game that he remembers playing where one group of players tried to hunt down another. But that was the nature of Philadelphia's hockey back in the mid-70s, as my partner John Davidson will attest, having played against them.
There were some tough games back in those days.
Tough indeed.
And a minute and a half away for Team USA for getting from getting their third point of 4 available to begin the tournament. And their next game will be against Slovakia on Saturday, day after tomorrow, here in Torino. Slovakian team is very fast, very skilled offensively, and have a great line. Gabrick on one wing, Dimitra in the middle, and Hossa on the other side. That should be a great hockey game.
Zdeno Chara at 6'9" anchors the defense for that team from Slovakia. Here is Lyle sending one in front, and they had Chris Drury sprung there. The body checking has picked up here as Kazakhstan tries to generate a 3-on-2. Weaving his way along is Antipin. But Team USA answers with an offense of its own, and Bill Guerin. Guerin dropped it on back. Hatcher, a little trouble steering through all the rush hour traffic, and it scaled around where eventually John Michael Lyles can retrieve. Got out of the way of a hit that was coming, a freight trainer from Shevronov. And the pass is led too far for Agarodnikov.
And icing with 25 seconds to go. Drury was knocked down right in front of the Kazakhstan goal. It looks to be okay. Real good leader. He leads by example on the ice. He was on the back check, Mike, before Team USA went to the offense. He goes to the net here. He goes to the net and twisted around and went down, and then the player fell on top of him. He was a little slow getting up, but Iriar 4-1 real late in the game, and his back check was what stopped the Kazakhstan rush. And that's a player that leads by example late in a game like this, making sure you're as good defensively before you even think about offense.
In light of that, do you think the coaching staff will be satisfied with the performance of the team in a win like this?
They'll be happy with the win. They want some rest. This team needs some rest. They haven't had a chance to rest. And they'll get that done tonight. And tomorrow, it'll be preparation time for a real exciting team in Slovakia. Man, they can bring it offensively. I question the talent of Slovakia's depth on their defense, and I don't know how good they're going to be in goal. DiPietro gets the win. Will he get the start in Game 3 against Slovakia? Time will tell. I suspect he will. A good, solid team effort. Gianta now has 2 goals in this tournament, a 4-1 win. The only goal against was a power play goal.